and welcome to the Gamers Table Independent Edition. It is Friday, and we're reviewing...
Slap of the King. Slap of the Ken.
Wrong word. No. Slap of the King. Slap the King is not about slap the can. King, not can. Stop it, Chris.
Slap the King is a two-player or two-team game of deduction and strategy. The dying king is hiding his heir to the throne. With deduction alone, you can figure it out and save the kingdom. To do this, be the first to slap the king card and guess the correct heir being hidden by the king. But be careful, there are tough penalties for naming the wrong heir.
Yeah, minus 10.
You lose 10 points if you guess wrong.
So there you go. This is the example of 4. We would deal out 4 of these cards. Make sure you don't deal out dead heirs or crests. And they go on the table, and everybody looks at them until they feel they are quite... Wow, that would have been a hard one to do, because you can't make a word out of that.
You could make it more complicated and try and remember the numbers or the name. Some of these names I can't imagine. They'd be pretty tough to remember. Kezan, Ulf, Arabelle, I don't know. That would be much more difficult. But we were just doing it by the letters on the bottom of the card, and it's pretty easy when you just say, pick a, what did Craig call it, a mnemonic or something. Anyway, but making it sound like a word.
Then you take those 4 off the
You're
table.
not going to forget that one, are you?
Now keep in mind,
Shuffle. One of them under the
shuffling.
king. The other 3 randomly distributed without anybody looking back into the deck.
for the cards that you need to remember, you either have to remember the name of the character, the number on that of the card, or the letter. We find the letter is obviously the easiest.
Because you can make a word out of it.
As some sort of mnemonic on your own to remember things by.
It's got a bit of a feel between Racco and Clue.
So after we've prepared the deck and shuffled them, both players, both teams, whatever, get their 3 cards. So by the end of the game,
I'm playing.
Between the 2 players or teams or whatever, you're going to know 3 of the 4 cards. Because you've got 3 or 4 amongst you in the hands, but you don't know who's going to have more. One person might end up with all 3, or there might be some distribution. And after your choices are, you can end the game, if you happen to have all 3 of them in there and you know for sure what the king is, right away, it's the J. Flip it over and you've got your 10 points before anybody's had a chance to do anything. It's not because they didn't... Is it? No. But most likely you're going to have to go through the deck by putting cards down. How do we put them down?
In that particular case,
right.
Craig would have lost 10 points. It would have been the end of the round. If you had any family lines with the crests on it, they would also score. So what happens now to determine who goes first, they both reveal their highest numbered card. Whoever has the highest numbered card
23.
6.
goes first.
I'll go first.
So that's disadvantage going first.
So Ken would draw a card and then play a card.
I'm going to draw a card.
So what he's doing now is he's starting to play family lines.
Value of 15.
Yes.
So when you play a family line, you try to start with a low card because any other card you add to that line has to be higher than the card previously played. If you get no points for the family line unless you actually play a crest at the end of it.
Keep playing.
If you're playing strategically, you ideally want to play last because then the person who played first has to reveal all their information before you have to reveal all your information. So at the very least, you force the person who's going first to make a 50-50 shot if you're holding one of the pieces of information back. Right. The other special card is the deceased heir, which can either be a 1 or...
dead heir.
Dead heir, yeah. 1 or a 10.
Dead heir.
So it's a semi-wild card.
It's got 1 and 10 both written on it. It says use it as a 1 or 10, and as they say in the rules, it's fairly obvious by where you put it in your run.
Yeah.
So the king, finding out who the heir is worth 10 points. As Chris was saying, all these we're getting down there. The more I get in front of me, the more points it's worth. If I happen to get, look at that, family crest, that's locked now. I cannot add any more to it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm guaranteed 5 points at the end of the round for that. So that's what your families are about. Also, because everything has to remain in view, you're giving yourself and your opponents that information if any of the 4 letters happen to be in there. Like Ken hasn't put any out yet, neither have I, because I didn't have any.
Nope.
But that's the sort of thing. And if you put those out, okay, now I see the J's out there. Now it can only be Z, B, or X. If I happen to have the Z for our American viewers, just in case you weren't understanding what we were talking about, in my hand, I would know the Z and the J, so now it's a B or an X. If I don't ever get the B or the X, I got to guess. Now, that's the other thing I'm talking about. Ken's disadvantage being first player. He's going to run out of draw deck first and have to play one of his 3 remaining cards out and sort of, well, now you're going to have to give some information away, probably.
If he's holding on to those cards, it could possibly be one of the face-down ones.
And the other thing is when it gets down to, I've got 2 cards left, you've got 1 card left. If I haven't guessed, that means you've got one of the 3 cards. So now your choice there is to lay that card down and give me 10 points, because that'll be enough information for me to guarantee what the error is.
Right.
Or for you to take your 50-50 guess and maybe lose 10 points.
Which happened in a lot of our games.
Yeah. Well, because you don't want to just hand 10 points to the other player.
No, exactly.
No. We could also play this game more risky, where you slap the king. You get a crest down. The other person doesn't have any crest down. You could maybe slap the king, hopefully guess it right, and get a huge lead. The game, by the way, goes to 50 points.
Yeah. And it goes actually fairly quickly because in one turn you can get over 20 easily.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be one of those games that dragged.
In the last game we played there.
You could have 30 points in one shot.
Yeah, it was pretty good there. I managed to get like a row of like 12 cards right in a row there. It's pretty cool.
The rulebook has been very good, and one of the few rulebooks that we had no questions, or all the questions have been answered in the rulebook. So it's a small little rulebook, but it's complete and in a good order. So, wrapping up.
Okay. So, theme. The dying king has named an heir, but we don't remember who he is, and we're a bunch of royal families trying to display our lineage, showing how good we are and why we should be the one who should be the king next.
So we slap him.
But it doesn't, because the theme doesn't really mean much. It's a memory game. It's sort of a mini kind of really quick version of Clue, where you're forced to give players information because those are all the cards you have, and you've got to lay one of them.
Yeah.
Easy to play. Yeah, the rules nice and clear. What you do is simple. All the cards have, like Ken was saying, really clean artwork, and no number, no letter, no name is ever duplicated. So if this is the D and he's one of the 4, if I remember the D, there won't be 2 Ds out there, but a D, one's Carrick and one's Jehoshaphat, and we got to remember which one's which. There's only one of everything, so it's easy. Fun to play. Didn't seem like it was going to be. When we started it up, it seemed like it was going to drag, and 50 points, we don't need to play to 50 points, and we played the first round. It's like, wow, we're a quarter of the way to 50 points already. Okay, it's not going to be a long game. And you get down near the end and you realize, oh, geez, I don't want to give him this information because then he's going to know more stuff, and I know more stuff than him right now. Yeah, it's pretty fun to play. I give Slap the King a 7.5.
Yeah, I don't mind it myself either. Like I said, the artwork's nothing extraordinary, but it's consistent, and it's a different character for every card, and it's pretty good. As far as the gameplay goes, it is pretty quick, and 50 doesn't take that long to get to. But it can be at the point where you get most of the information right away just by the deal or something like that, and you take a 50-50 shot right away if you want, but you're not getting any points that way. It's kind of nice though if you do have enough information, you just keep slapping it down. You can kind of wait and as long as possible and build up as much points as you can, but you got to take a chance of getting the actual family crest too to complete the line, because if you don't get that, you don't get the points. It's okay. It's a good time filler. It does go fairly quickly. I know you played at 50 points, but it can go pretty quick. Like I got over 20 points, almost 30 in my one turn. So that's good about it. It does fit in the time frame of the game. 2 players, yeah, it's not bad for a little 2-player game, but it is still a fairly simple card game. It's more about memory and that, or just taking chances. You can, if you've got enough information, try and stretch it out and put more and more cards down, and because the other guy's got less information, so you're taking a chance that can't stop. How many more cards can I get down? If I have enough crests, But if I don't have enough crests, well, then I'm taking an awful chance. You're not able to complete those family lines or anything like that. But still, I just don't see myself wanting to play this too often. It's still fairly simple. I enjoy it, but I can't give it much more than say 5.5.
It's a quick, and it's actually fun. We had quite a bit of fun playing it. It's a little bit of memory game, a little strategy. It's sort of like, okay, I've got all this information in my hand. I don't want to give it to the other person. Like, if it's one of the 4 possible errors, you want to hold that into your hand for as long as you can. In the one game playing with Craig, one of the possible errors was in my hand, but it was also the highest card in my hand that I had to reveal to see who's going first. I don't know if he paid attention to that or not, but I ended up putting down as my first card just to get rid of it because I assume he saw it. So
You assumed wrong.
I give Slap the Ken a 7. I mean Slap the King.
So that's it for this episode of the Gamers Table Independent Edition. Tune in next week where we review another game.
Because that's what we do.
Slap the Ken.
It's King.
If you enjoyed If you enjoy the show, click the like button down below, and if you haven't subscribed to us, subscribe, and you can connect with us on Twitter, you can connect with us on Facebook, or send us an email at thegamerstable@hotmail.com, or you can go to the Gamers Table website, www.thegamerstable.info.
And don't forget a W.
That's right, and go to the selection that says shop or store or buy stuff, and you can buy fridge magnets and buttons. We got the buttons in black and with dice background that says I watched the Gamers Table, and has got our website down there. And we got the ones that I think you're probably more interested in buying with the dice background and the black background with our website on the bottom. We have douchebaggery. Since some of you seem to want to put that as a post in every one of our episodes, I think you probably should have one of these. Remember, they come in fridge magnets and in buttons, so you can walk around all day long with douchebaggery on you and have to explain to everyone you meet why you have douchebaggery on your shirt.
These are special handcrafted buttons.
They are. I make them right here. So that's it. See you later.
Because that's what he does.
Yeah. Wow, that would have been a hard one to do. Because you can't make a word out of that.
Jizzbox.
Oh,
Train
Ken had no problem
off the track. Anyway, go look at that.
In there.
Oh, yeah, we are. Go look at that. I'm the one in charge.
It says JZBX. Jizzbox.
Anyway.